Welcome to another Demarcation Media Dusted Off video. Today, we have a very special video because we are going to be painting another Mega figure. I actually have our selection of available figures to paint down here. We'll look at them in a second. But I'm going to be having a special guest. You'll probably know based on the title already, but I'm going to be having a special guest paint the figure instead of me. Because, you know, I've painted a lot of Mega figures, I customize Mega figures all the time, but I wanted to see how somebody who doesn't paint Mega figures but paints other things does painting a Mega figure. So, let me show you the figures that we have available today. Okay, so this here is kind of my work in progress shelf, and I will show this off more in my collection tour video. But right now we have these three figures here. This is a figure with parts from Mace Blocks. That will be a separate video. I have the supplies for that coming soon. Those are also for a separate video, but we have these three here. So that guy's got an LS3D ODST helmet that I actually busted up, but I think it's in good enough shape to still paint. Then we have this guy and this guy. They're both using the same helmets, but with like variants. And it's just different armor types. So I'm going to let our guest choose one of those three and we'll go from there. So now we just have to wait for our guest to arrive. Come on in. All right, and here she is. This is my girlfriend, Lydia.
Hello.
So I guess I wanted to start by asking you what your experience is painting.
Mostly like flowers and landscapes and things like that, or abstract.
So like what types of paints and on what kind of themes have you painted for?
Typically watercolor and acrylic, and either a canvas, paper, or bottles.
Okay, so you've done basically paper and metal.
Mm-hmm.
So this is going to be entirely different for you.
Yes.
Okay, so I'm curious to see how it goes for you. So we're going to go ahead and pick the figure that you're going to be painting and we'll get started. Okay, so these three down here, one of those three in the bag. So just pick whichever one you feel like working with.
Okay.
Which one are you going with?
This one.
Okay, back to the table. Well, first you can get your guy out of the bag. Unless you plan on painting him in the bag. Are you going to paint him in the bag?
Sure, you can do that.
Just paint the bag. So, these are all the rest of the paintbrushes. Next, you have to decide what paints you want to use. There's your selection up there. I would not recommend using those ones because the apple barrel ones don't stick as well. I have not tried that bright green yet, actually.
I could do that then.
You want to try that?
Sure. This one?
Mm-hmm. Do you want to pair it with anything?
This one look nice.
That I love that copper. That's such a nice copper. For the arms and the legs, it's typically best to leave them their base color for the most part if you're doing like simple painting, because you see how the arm like bends?
Like around the joints?
Yeah, if you put the paint on there, the paint is not going to stay, not without like shaving the joint down.
Okay.
So you could paint, and the same with here, although this is less, but like you could paint like parts of those sections, but it's better to leave it their main color.
Okay.
So, which one are you using? Are you using the green as your base color or the copper as your base color?
I was gonna do green, but maybe the copper actually.
Green with copper highlights or copper with green highlights?
Copper green highlights.
Copper with green highlights, because I wonder how the copper is going to look against the yellow. Interesting. Okay.
We'll see.
Yeah, we'll see. We will find out.
Wait.
You can see that I was starting to paint that guy at one point. See the leftover blue?
Yeah.
I just never finished. And now I'm kind of wishing I hadn't done that because I need to get another one of these guys to review or like compare. How's this paint feel compared to the other paints that you've used?
Similar to my metallic ones, but it covers more because The ones that I have, like I have a gold one, and I have to do like 5 coats for it to actually look gold or not
Okay.
just shiny.
I guess that's what paying $5 for a tiny bottle would get you.
I thought the one that I was getting was expensive.
How much was that?
I think it was like $6 for 8 ounces
Oh,
or 6 ounces.
okay. I don't remember. What's the ounce of these?
This looks like 1 or 2. It is a quarter of a ounce.
Oh yeah, so yeah, I guess that's significantly more expensive than
Very much.
the other one. So you like how it applies, but you don't like the price.
Yeah.
Okay, to be fair though, these tiny little containers do last a lot longer than other paints, typically.
Yeah, I mean, since you don't have to apply as many coats, that does make sense.
Hmm. Has there been anything particularly difficult about painting a figure instead of a canvas?
I guess she's getting all the little nooks and crannies.
Yeah, I guess you don't really have to worry about that on a canvas. It's just
No.
all flat.
Yeah, not really. I'm like, keep finding spots that I missed.
Are you liking how it's coming out so far?
I think so, yeah.
You think you're almost ready to add the green, or do you need more copper?
Yeah, she's still dry a little bit. It's still tacky.
That's something I have a bad problem with. I always try to paint too fast.
Yeah, I do that too. I like to paint it all in one go.
Yeah, I mean, it's nicer to do it that way than leave it to sit.
Yeah, and sometimes it works better though.
Really?
Well, at least for the type of things that I normally do.
Oh,
It blends
yeah.
better if it's all wet.
That's true. I guess you don't really have to do blending here unless you're doing a gradient, which I personally have never tried. So do we just need to let it dry a little bit now?
I think so, yeah.
Now comes the part that we have to sit and wait, and the people on YouTube can just wait half a second, and then we're gonna jump to whenever it's dry.
Yep.
The visor's looking nice.
Thank you.
What's the rest of them look like?
Yeah. A little messy, but
I mean, with the little extra paint on the chest pockets, I think that'll be pretty good. I'm really liking the gold or not the gold, the copper and the yellow.
yeah.
It's kind of a nice pairing. So what's next?
I'm gonna doodle with the green.
You're gonna doodle with the green.
Yes.
Are you actually gonna try to make designs with it, or just add it on, or just?
I think a bit of both.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm very interested to see how this turns out.
Me too.
So we've run into a problem.
Yes, this paint is taking off the copper. It's like melting it off.
It's really thin, and here's for you guys to see. This is on a blank figure. The green really is like thin and weird. What are we gonna do?
Probably not use that, otherwise it's just gonna be green.
Do you want to pick another color?
Sure.
I do have another green if you still want to stick with green. There's this green. We took a break for a lot longer than we meant to.
Because we needed the paint to dry.
So are we all fully set and dry with the copper?
I think so.
How much of the paint did you get on your hands instead of getting on the figure?
Just a little bit.
You know, just half the jar. That's all.
I don't think that's half.
Okay, fine. 2/3 of the jar. So, are you done?
Yes.
How was that compared to like any of the other things that you painted?
Definitely a lot of more nooks and crannies than a canvas or a bottle. It was also a little tinier than what I have painted in the past.
Yeah, the small details can take some getting used to. I mean, we also ran into the problem of one of our paints being very, very not drying.
Yeah.
So now, typically, this is the part of the process where I would let it dry and then take it outside to do the spray. But it is cold and wet
It's pouring.
right now, so that will happen another day. That will probably not make it into the video just because it's just spraying it. Also, typically I weather it a lot, like I put a lot of dirt on it, but I don't know that your design lends itself to dirt so much. I mean, you kind of did a little bit of the, were you aiming for dirt or like camo on the lower legs?
More like dirt.
Was that something you would do again?
Well, I think so. I mean, pretty fun.
I do think the color pairing turned out pretty nicely. And I was still shocked at how sharp you got the visor.
Thank you.
The visor is always the most stressful part, but I don't understand how you just like went and did it. So, well done.
Thank you.
Thank you for coming and being in the video and for painting the figure.
Yeah.
I'm sure I will want you to come back for other videos. What would you say to somebody who has wanted to paint one of these figures and always just thinks that they're not good enough?
Just do it. Not Nike.
Not sponsored by Nike, but sit down and just paint a figure. How hard was it?
I don't think it was really hard. I mean, I didn't really have an exact thing I was going for, so that made it not as hard.
So maybe just do it and also let yourself have some creative freedom.
Yeah, just winging it and doing it.
I'm sure, like I said, I will have you back. And thank you again for coming.
Well, there you have it. That's what happens when somebody who has zero experience painting Mega paints a Mega figure. And I gotta say, I am pretty impressed. Going from the flat surfaces, or I guess curved surfaces of canvases and water bottles to painting a Mega, that was pretty impressive. Like, yeah, I'm biased, I know, but still, that's pretty impressive. Even if it was not my girlfriend doing that, I would still be pretty impressed. So, like Lydia said, basically, if you want to do this, just do it. If it looks like it's gonna be fun, if you want to give it a try, just do it. Don't worry about, oh no, I'm not good enough at painting. You'll never get started if you do that. So if you got some extra Mega figures lying around, get yourself some paint, get yourself some brushes, and give it a try. It's a lot of fun, and with practice, you can do a lot of really cool things. Thanks so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please leave a like and consider subscribing, and I'll see you next time.
It'll be great though.
You're not gonna make my face the cover, are you?
I mean, I might have to put your face on the cover. Unless you just really don't want your face on the cover. I can not do that if you prefer.
If you do, don't do a bad photo.
How about you can pick?
Oh gosh.
Anyway,
do
though.
ones.
What? No, then I'll get demonetized. I would get demonetized so fast.
Maybe.
Yeah, I would get demonetized way too fast. Your makeup is way too realistic for that.
Thank you.